Hello everybody and welcome to today's new video. Today we will have it a little bit calmer than all the other days. This is an audiobook for a book called Message to Scott Cawhton Reimagined by YouTube under that creepypastas, which will be here on the screen. Before we start, I just want to say that there are a lot of disclaimers and trigger warnings, so I will just read it out for you. Censor swearing, violence, gore, character death, reference to mental and physical disabilities. Without further ado, I think we could get to the first chapter. Let's see. Prologue. After a good 5 minutes of driving around the car park, the car finally rolled up into the parking space. The place was packed. They were over an hour late, but that was their fault. They should have known how busy theme parks can get, especially when you are one of the Britain's most visited attractions. They did have a shuttle though, and they tried to stick to it. One person will drive and pick up another. Everybody else would meet at the train station and be picked up there. All suitcases would go into the boot. That part of the plan had worked perfectly, but that was the only part that worked. First, it was the sat-nav trying to send them off a bridge followed by a stubborn and stupid fox cop trotting up, not across, up. A road for a good 15 minutes. It clearly didn't give a damn that morning. Then there was an issue on a country lane when a minibus driver had decided to push its way through, despite the lines clearly not being big enough for it. They reversed for around a mile to get off that lane and proceed to wait for a line of 20 plus cars to pass that had been behind the minibus driver. No one could have predicted how busy the motorways were going to be. Traffic moved at a snail's pace for 10 miles after there was a crash between two trucks on one of the exits. Then they took the wrong exit at a roundabout, followed by the wrong exit on a bypass. The driver angrily said that if everyone didn't shut up the next time the sat-nav spoke, they could get out and walk the rest of the way. The whole thing was just more trouble than it needed to be. Basamelan signed, trying to ignore the cramp in his leg that had been persistent for the last 2 hours of the drive. He pulled the handbrake on and turned off the ignition before turning around to his friends on the back seat. It was quite a comical sight, seeing 3 grown men, shoulder to shoulder, with all of them trying their hardest not to make eye contact, to increase the awareness of the situation. There was Will of DA Games, quite a skinny man, with a small bird on his chin, and a medium-length black hair that had been dyed purple at the front, and he had darkish blue eyes. He was wearing a black button-up shirt, dark navy jeans, and had a black and white Converse shoes. Bess always found him impressive. His ability in anything creative often exceeded the others in the group, which was to be expected for a talented musician like him. Secondly, there was Reese, more commonly referred to as Raz or Razbowski. He was the oldest out of them all, but it never showed. He was probably the physically stronger member of the group, but a Scotsman would never hurt a fly. The greenish-brown-eyed man had a massive heart and a great sense of humor, never wasting any time to chip in a joke, no matter how inappropriate it was. He had a hair which had been dyed light grey a while ago, so the brownish blonde roots were starting to grow through to match the color of his close-cut beard. He wore a light purple hoodie with a white shirt under it, light blue trousers and white trainers. Next to him was one of Bass's oldest friends, 8-Bit Ryan. Ryan had a light brown hair with a lighter colored fringe that went over the right side of his face and had a hazel eyes, which were currently being covered by blue mirrored sunglasses. He wore a tank top with blue, black and pink swirls, black jeans and black lace-up boots. Ryan was always hardworking, a bit of perfectionist at the time, and was always motivated and open to opportunities, with the most logical mindset out of the group. After knowing each other since they were kids, Ryan and Baz treated each other like brothers. Others often would find them confusing though, as both of their real names were Ryan. "We're here!" Baz said cheerfully, thankful that he didn't have to drive for another few days. Ryan and Will, who are next to the doors, wasted no time in getting out of the car. They were swiftly followed by Reese as he shuffled out of the middle seat. Baz grabbed his car keys, wallet and phone before looking towards Darko beside him in the front passenger seat. Darko, or Luis, was the youngest of the group, but was the tallest, with black hair that kind of dropped to one side over one of his grayish-blue eyes that were currently closed. Like Will, he was quite thin, but he had no facial hair, as he shaved it regularly. On his cheeks were the traces of acne scars that had faded long ago. He was wearing a black shirt with a red off-the-wall logo at the center, black trousers and white trainers. He also had a baseball cap on and was holding his sunglasses loosely in one of his hands. Around 10 minutes after everyone had been picked up, Louis started to feel extremely travel sick. Not wanting anyone to throw up in the car, and for the general concern of his friend, Ryan had offered to switch places with Louis so that he could make the most of the aircon in the front seat. Louis didn't hesitate to accept the offer. At some point along the journey, the younger man had fallen asleep. Baz gently grasped his shoulder and shook his younger friend awake. "What?" Louis mumbled, slowly opening his eyes and clenching them shut as the sunlight swarmed into them. With a groan, he raised an arm in front of his face and tried to open his eyes again. "Rise and shine, mate," Baz said, patting Louis on the shoulder. "We're here!" He stepped out of the car and closed the door softly behind him, giving one last look through the window before joining his friends at the back of the car to help grab bags from the boot. As he walked towards them, Ryan gave his friend a concerned look. He watched Baz walk up to them, giving a small smile at the side of his hair. His older friend had dyed it pink for the charity, but not just any pink. No, it was hot pink, the deep neon pink that most people found obtrusive. However, it somehow went with his grayish-green eyes. Baz had no eyebrows though. Well, he did, but they were so light it was as if they were non-existent. Today, he was wearing a light blue shirt with darker blue spots on it, dark blue jeans, and black trainers with white night ticks. "Is he okay?" Ryan asked quietly. Baz nodded as he grabbed his suitcase from the boot, fiddled with the adjustable handle a little, and then looked at Ryan. He gave him a little smile, his silver blue braces shining in the sunlight. "I just hope he's going to be able to handle the roller coasters," Baz started. However, he was cut short as a car door was opened. Louis stepped out, still clearly bothered by the light intensity, as he put on his sunglasses and joined them at the boot of the car. He looked into the car's empty boot, confused. "I've got your bag, Lou," Reese said, nodding his head towards the rucksack on top of his suitcase. Louis gave a small smile and began to reach for it, but Reese wheeled it out of his reach. "I've got it," he said reassuringly. Louis blinked slowly. "Hang on a sec," he murmured as he took a hasty step towards the Scotsman, quickly unzipping the bag and taking out his camera. He zipped it shut and began to walk on ahead. Reese followed close behind. The others followed suit, taking a few longer strides to catch up with their friend. you guys mind if I start vlogging? Louis asked, holding up the camera. There were sounds of approval. Louis nodded and turned on the camera, and it started recording. Hi guys, he said, rather unenthusiastically. Will gave Louis a weird look, but it wasn't noticed. We're at Alton Towers today, Louis continued as he panned the camera around to Baz. Hey guys! Baz said happily, giving the camera a wink. Look at his beautiful hair he did for charity, Louis said enthusiastically. Isn't he a nice guy, huh? I look like Lazy Town Stephanie's returning cousin, the pink-haired man replied. Louis laughed and continued the vlog, greeting all his friends and showing off the scenery of the Alton Towers pathway. Soon, the path led to a clearing where a crowd of people could be seen shuffling through a line that went back and forth like a snake. The line led under a large archway with the Alton Towers logo carved across the front of it. A blue castle in a golden outlined circle with a red banner over the front of it, reading Alton Towers Resort. However, the most prominent feature of the clearing was the section of an old roller coaster that was being suspended in the air. According to Will, who had been to Alton Towers a very long time ago, it was taken from the very first ride as a monument type of thing. They got in the line and joked about how amazing this ride was. The group waited in line for around 20 uneventful minutes. When they got to entrance, they gave in the bags to be checked and sent to their lodge on the other side of the theme park. The group exchanged pleasantries to the staff before walking off into Alton Towers, eager to explore. Will was happily explaining about all the best rides that were in the park when he went, and all of the new ones that had been built, which he was eager to try. And his voice faded into the murmur of the crowd as he got further away. A younger security officer, who had recognized the group of YouTubers but had been too nervous to say it, listened to the musician's voice as it faded. He opened and checked all the bags and passed them to another older guard with dual satisfaction. The younger guard came to a black rucksack and began to unzip it, but suddenly felt tense. Why? He couldn't answer. Stop being ridiculous. What makes this bag any different? He asked himself in his head. He took a steady breath, as if preparing for the worst, and unzipped the bag the rest of the way, slowly rummaging through the many clothes, towels, and other accessories before coming to the bottom of the bag. There were some strange items, such as thick parcel tape, which for some reason was a legal item to have with you in the park. But if you took in a snow globe or an old-fashioned thermometer, that was somehow against the rules. Who would even bring these though? Why were those rules needed? And then he saw them. Making a confused face, he gently pulled out 4 pieces of colored plastic. Huh? He said, turning each one over in his hands. The older guard next to him noticed his confusion and walked over to get a better view of the objects. They exchanged curious glances before looking toward the group that had given them the bags. They were nothing more than heads in a sea of people now, but they were easy to find thanks to the group's range of dyed hair. The older guard chuckled and patted his younger colleague on the back. Some people, huh? He said, amused, before walking back to his desk where another group were waiting to give in their bags. Some people. The younger guard echoed, giving the piece of plastic one final look before putting them back in the rucksack. He looked into the crowd of people once more, scanning the heads for those distinguishing hair colors. He found them and shifted uncomfortably. He could have swore one of them was looking back. Alright, so I guess that was a show of how this could go. So if you are interested in this audiobook, upload by 4 chapters always in every video. It will be one of the longer videos, of course, but I think it's worth it. This book is kind of long. It has 27 chapters, including the epilogue. So if you enjoyed it, I would love if you give me a like. If you are new here, then you can hit that subscribe, because that will mean a world to me. Share with others. Tell me if you have any other book. This book, if you are interested at any point, is down in the description with the credits to author. I have talked to the author, so if you are seeing this video, then it went by them. If you are not, then whatever. But yeah, honestly, I've read this book so many times by this point, and it's just amazing. There's something about it, I can't really place it. But yeah, if you will be interested in more content like this, then it will be lovely to see you react to it. So yeah, have a nice day and enjoy your time. Bye bye. Blah 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 blah. Faded. He opened the ball. But had been two neighbors. Fucking hell, nervous. Isn't he a nice guy? Huh? Isn't he a nice guy? We're at. Hi guys. He zipped it shut and began to walk on ahead. Reese followed behind close. Fuck. What? He wore the light purple hoodie with a white shirt under it. Light blue. Fucking who? I just hope he's going to be able to handle the roar like a blah. Best started. However, he was cut short as the car door opened. He had a hair which had been dyed light grey a while ago, so the brownish blonde roots were starting to grow through to match the color of his close-cut beard. Bess nodded as he grabbed his suitcase from the boot, fiddled with its adjustable handle a little, and then looked at Ryan. Ryan had light brown hair. Bazamalam! So sorry. I've got your back, Lou. Oh, that's good.